Hello, everybody, and welcome to the stream scene. I hope you guys are doing well. We've got a really awesome episode planned for you guys today. I'm joined here by my lovely co-host, TheHunterWild. What's up, Hunter?
Hello. We've had a fantastic pre-show today that has been absolutely next level. And boy, wouldn't you know, you can get access to it too through our Patreon.
Oh,
at
really?
patreon.com/StreamerSquare. The format of today's show has got me really excited. I was just talking about this like within the last minute. It's got me really amped up. Like I have adrenaline. Like I can feel there's a bit of a flush. I might be a little bit redder because I'm like really excited. Am I really?
You look sunburned.
I'm really excited about the free flow format that we have today. This is one of my favorite formats for the show, and we've got two fantastic people here with us, Gooperatives and DizzyDizaster. Now, a bit of a preface: Gooperatives is a newer friend of mine. DizzyDizaster is an older friend of mine. He is one of the people who helped create the initial strength and momentum that my channel was able to take and has pushed through to today. He was a critical in terms of like the philosophy, the concepts of community and application, production, and just the orientation toward the platform has been a huge role and motivator for me, big inspiration. And on the show today, these two people are fantastic. I can't wait to hear what they got to say. Gooperatives, what have you got? Who are you?
Okay, I'm Gooperatives. Most people call because nobody can get that first part right, so it's fine. Goop is okay. Yeah, I'm a mental health advocate, so my stream is focused around being like an intermediary, not really group therapy, but group accountability for mental health and pursuing furthering your like stability, right? So I personally have like bipolar 2. I have generalized anxiety disorder. I'm really open about like a suicide attempt I had when I was much younger. And I tell that story in hopes of like reaching people that are struggling, and they can use our chat to vent stuff out. Obviously, there's positive venting and there's negative venting. Try to move that needle, right? We don't just want to bitch about our day every day, but
that's a challenging line to walk too.
It is it's difficult, and it's positive reinforcement. But it's giving people a place to talk about things, especially when you have like parental deniers who don't, like parents that don't take accountability for their kids, or when kids are getting bullied in school, things like that. So we try to do the best we can as a community to lift each other up and to try to really break down that stuff. So yeah, that's what we're all about. We play a variety of games, from like Hollow Knight to Kingdom Hearts to Warframe to it's everywhere, whatever tickles my fancy. So
nice.
I am an LGBTQI ally. Pink throws people off, so I am a straight male. It's not like a disclaimer, but like in case anyone's like. So
yeah, we were talking about that in terms of the tag. Maybe we'll get to that today on the show.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. But that is me. That is my community. So
yeah. All right, Dizzy, what you got?
First, I'd like to preface by saying the audio problems are mine, not Lowco's. So if you have any problems,
ownership here.
DizzyDizaster, and I'll make sure I file them right where they need to be.
Look at all these compliments I've gotten so far before you.
I know.
Now it's up. Gigs up.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. So with that being said, my name is DizzyDizaster. HunterWild knows me. We're long friends. I raided him one day on Don't Starve, and it's been a crazy ride ever since. But I've been streaming for almost 6 years now. I got partnered almost 5 years to the day. I do variety streaming, everything from Don't Starve to Terraria. I was doing Anno this week. I'm all over the road.
Yes.
And I think something that's really unique about my community is I put no limitations on who is a part of my community. Now, by that, I mean, not to say everybody's limited, but a lot of my community is actually fluent Russian speaking and very little English. And that's a result of people raiding my channel one day. And I was just like, this is pretty cool. Let's see where this goes. And I am a strong advocate about valuing people's time. I like to spend a lot of time with smaller streamers. And I like to be as inclusive as I possibly can, even if it means me spending an extra hour, 2 hours, week, month, year trying to figure out how to be as inclusive as possible. To me, that's my challenge I set forth. People give their time to me, and I use that time to try to create something that's bigger than what I consider a Twitch stream, which is my inevitable goal. I like having a community that's going to go, beyond just, hey, we're going to play some video games. Let's do something fun.
You do have a big commitment for that, yeah.
I want to create something that's bigger than that. So Twitch is my avenue right now. It's a really good one. It's a really fun one and a really easy one to meet other people. But I aim way, way higher than that.
Yeah.
So speaking of inclusivity, you mentioned that you got raided by a Russian streamer, and a large part of your community now they speak Russian. But do you know how to speak Russian?
Да. Я говорю по-русски немного. That means I could speak a little bit of Russian. In 3 years, you'd figure I'd be able to speak more, but time management is most of my biggest concern on that. And let me tell you, as somebody who has never left the U.S., I live in the Northeast. I live 1 hour north of New York City. Learning Russian has been one of the most difficult things I've ever done in my life. So,
did you do that
it's
for this, like, for what happened to your channel? Like, what made you decide to embrace a language you've never spoken into your community?
So go back to the long time ago of 2015, where raids and hosts began to be kind of a thing, but they weren't formalized yet. And there was a big story about Russian streamers, or even I think there was some Spanish streamers who were raiding channels with like hatred and vitriol, and people were like getting angry and upset and saying, what do I do about this? It's still a problem to some extent. You see it all on Twitter. But there was one particular streamer. His name is Jesus AVGN. His name is Jesus, but I call him Jesus because I feel like he's kind of a second coming on my channel. And he was raiding other channels for YouTube. Like, he's a big YouTuber. He's got over 1 million subs on YouTube, and he makes videos of his raids. And he decided to raid me because he saw this hat on, which is Chester from Don't Starve. You don't recognize it. This is a brand new one, so I got the tags. And he spammed my channel with Dobra I Pozitiva, which means goodness and positivity. And I didn't know what it was. There's actually a video of the raid, and you could see that I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I don't know.
The complete confusion.
Oh, just complete confusion. So after the raid, I went over to his channel and I said, I need to figure out what's going on here. And I don't understand it. I don't know. I know English, and that's it. And they learn a little English in school. So there's a good amount of, I guess they would call them kids because they're teenagers in there who are like, hey, listen, come over and check out our social media, which is called VContact. And I created a page on there. And within an hour or two, I had thousands and thousands of follows on there. And all of a sudden, people were coming out of everywhere. Let me help you moderate. Here's some artwork for you. Here's this, here's this. And from there, I was just like, they're dedicating so much time to this. And I am so nothing on the radar of this country. And I was just like, the least I could do is try to speak to them. And that was 3 years ago. And up till now, I've been rated by almost every big Russian streamer that exists. I know quite a bit of Russian YouTube and Twitch as a result of that. I can't wait to go over there. It's going to be insane. Excuse me. I had to make a YouTube video, a 5-part YouTube video to explain this story, just because it's so many facets and so many crazy things that has happened.
Right.
And I tell you, I mean, it was the best decision of my life, and it was such a momentary decision that, and I always tell this to small casters, and I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole with this, but like, it's nutty because it was that one moment where you get a raid, and we've all had raids before. We've all had raids. People come in, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. When you raid my channel, I blow the screen up. I blast it. I have fireworks go off. It gets really loud. You have to turn your volume down. I get so loud. But that's my point, is to like, that's not how I always am. You can see I'm very expressive. I'm a little, but my point is to leave you with something that makes you go, what the hell was that? And then you either come back or you don't. And if you do come back, you usually kind of stay in the community. And they saw that and they hadn't seen anything like it. So it was like on their videos, they were getting 1 million views on videos of it and everything else. And
especially for the time, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're back then, right?
Back in the day.
Yeah, nowadays, like having a crazy raid video is like par for the course. But like, you
remember my old raid video?
I love your old raid video. I still
or
think
like
about
it was
that.
like the music, and I had this whole dance. I would do this whole choreographed
Hold on,
thing.
there was a dance. All right, hold on.
There was a whole dance. There's a whole
But you see how I
choreographed thing.
remembered that though.
Yeah.
I remember that exactly. Like the second you
Earworms
brought it
and-
up, I could see you dancing to it.
People still talk about it 3 years.
That's
3
what
years
I'm
after I
saying.
got rid of it, they're like, "Hey, do you still? I haven't seen you do that, man. I miss that dance." People have gone back through old videos and stuff trying to find it too, which is cool.
So why did you get rid of it?
I got rid of it because it was copyrighted music.
Oh, well.
I guess
Smart
What-
idea.
what
on
might
to
be-
die on.
Should've
We're
just
going to be
changed the
bringing
song.
something back, but it's not going to be that.
Yes.
No, that's
Like, give
actually a
people a
good
reason
topic that
to, like,
I want
yeah.
to go into is raiding and hosting and receiving raids. How do you guys receive raids? Is it always a special thing? Do you try to, just go with the flow? How do you guys handle raids?
It's so I'm the youngest of us. Hi, hello.
Oh, you cut out there
So
for a sec.
oh, sorry. So I've been streaming for like 2 years. So when everyone's like back 4 years ago, but for me, like I was a small timer not that long ago, and so like raids were kind of always socially acceptable and always a thing like since I've started. So but I remember being like the little guy and raiding people and sometimes not getting like the warmest of welcome, but then like a 200 person raid comes in and they're like, oh, like, so for me it's a huge part
juxtaposition.
of it is. I always treat every raid because your intent with the raid is what matters, because when you get a 200 person raid, 150 flock out and then 50 lurk, you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter if you raid with 300, like it is the idea that whatever community that you are actively putting effort and energy into, you decided you wanted to bring that here. And so you are greeted with the same, oh my gosh, thank you, hi, how are you, like what did you play, what did you do, how are you feeling? And then I try to always ask the community, like, hey, especially if it's somebody I don't know, or somebody that's rated me once or twice, I ask their community to tell me what they like about caster.
Yeah, I've seen that a couple times. That's pretty cool.
So
It's a good idea.
It's not big, it's not extravagant because that's not my brand, but like,
Yeah, right.
the greeting is consistent. So
See, I have the same level of gratitude for all of it, and I will. And this was a little bit of a rough line to walk. I try to lightly shame people who raid with one person, but shame themselves. They're like, "Oh, it's just a one-person raid; it's no big deal." And I'm like, "How dare you?
Yeah.
No,
Exactly.
pump that up! No, this is beautiful." And doing that
Yeah.
whole thing, the gratitude is the same, but I will say that I have a different pitch. If Gassy Mexican raids in with like 1,500 people, I'll say something a little bit different to the people who are coming in to get a little bit of a different hook.
Right.
But the gratitude
that's valid.
is equivalent.
yeah, that's valid.
Dizzy, what about you?
I have 3 different raids that are overlays. One of them is 5 minutes long and just more explosions than you'll ever see on
5
Twitch.
minutes?
There's another one that's all in Russian and has jets bombing a city as it's all going crazy with Russian music blasting in the background. There's one that pops up in the screen that is just my gecko with a helmet on, and we kind of go crazy. And then I have other pop-up videos that I can do. So I have, give or take, 5 or 6 different ways that I
like
greet
variety.
people when they raid my channel.
That's cool.
I want people to remember me, and if it's
Sure.
just for that one moment, let's do it. You know,
Well, I feel
this
like
is the moment I
if
got.
you end up with a lot of raids and it's always the same thing, which was
Right.
the case for mine, something I want to not do moving forward. Like right now, it's just like, oh hey, cool, thank you, and there's a little bit of excitement coming from me, but I don't do anything different within the broadcast like I would like to moving toward that. Having variety sounds really good because if you end up with like a crazy raid day because somebody bigger maybe raided you earlier in the day and then you're higher on that list and then people are like, oh shoot, we should go raid too, right? That kind of thing that happens.
Yeah. Snowballs.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you make it flashy enough, people will watch it 7 times.
Well, that is
care.
true, but I think
That's
I think for the people who are sticking around within that one day, you do have a
whole
little bit of
8
added
hours.
value by having
Yeah,
some
no, I
variety to it.
agree.
Fair. That's valid. Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff can really get stale pretty quickly too. It's like you have your regulars, and let's say you get a 1-person raid, or you get like a 1,000-person raid, and you get several smaller raids. It's like you're doing the same 3-minute extravagant thing. Your viewers are just like, "Alrighty, here we go again."
God, I feel that way sometimes. I'm like, I don't have the energy for that.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, what if you're
so-
like in the middle of like a really focused mode that's like has a certain vibe to your stream, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, you know what? Screw the sad part, guys. We're getting a raid. Like,
in the middle of like a
It's
big
like
Kingdom Hearts
adapting, really.
cutscene or
Yeah.
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
I could see all those.
I think the most important thing when receiving a raid or like a host or something is just like engaging those new people, right? Like, like actually talking to them, like saying their names and stuff like that. Because I find that raids are kind of tricky to handle because you have these viewers that they don't know you at all. They don't know your community, so they instantly are going to feel out of place. They're just like, oh, I did my raid message and now I don't know what to say anymore. So I always try to like be like, you know, I'll say a little bit about me. And then I'll try to get to know the person that rated me, even if it's someone I know. I'm like, oh, what do they play? What are they playing right now? Have you guys know what game I'm playing? Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like with viewership, you know, there's different strokes, different folks. Like in chat, some people are like, well, I don't like the flashier stuff usually. You know, and I would always implore you, if you do see a flashy raid reaction, like it may just be like what Dizzy said, where it's literally just to get the hook in a lot of people who do. So you should always give like the time of day, right? I always say like
I don't think A Greens likes flashy anything.
It's impossible. I mean, for me, I always ask like, hey, like, you know, give whoever I rate, even if you walk away from it, give them like 10 minutes of your time. Like, see if you like them, like see if you like what they're about. You know, that's always like my request. So, you know, the response is, you know, different strokes.
Sure.
That, and you could be a catalyst for a career, right, Hunter?
Exactly. That's the whole introduction on that one.
That's the thing is, rating Hunter was like, when I rated you, you were in the Don't Starve category, and me and a couple other people were on the top of the Don't Starve category for Don't Starve Together when it came out. And one of the things that we did was we made sure that we wanted we almost viewed that category as ours, even though it wasn't. We wanted to make sure that everybody felt welcome there because it was such a great game. So, you know, I just found people. I know this is terrible to say because we have so many big casters now who have no webcam, but if I see a webcam, I click on the stream and check it out. If I don't know if I necessarily do. And I saw your webcam and you were talking, and I was like, okay, let's raid this guy tonight. Let's do this. And we made it a point that every night we wanted to do somebody new. And I have met so many people that are now partners back then from doing that. And all it was just 10 minutes of my time. As he said, 10 minutes of my time, go in there, say, hey man, you're doing a good job. This is a tough thing to do. Just keep it up. You're doing great. You got my interest. So
how was that experience for you, Hunter? Like receiving that raid? You don't remember?
Oh, I remember clearly. I do remember vividly.
You know, it's the haze.
It's like, oh, yeah.
It the next time that they raided 2 was Far Cry 4. I think was the second time I got the big Dizzy raid. I had mentally prepared myself in advance, which I think was I've talked about this a little bit recently, right? Which is like prepare for the things that may happen so that you can try and capitalize on, you know, these random events that give you a lot of potential momentum. And I think this was one of those cases. So there was clearly anybody would be overwhelmed going from like, I don't know, like 32 people in the channel to like 387 or something, right? You get that.
000.
Yeah, you get it. It's very easy to immediately and instantly have the anxiety spike, to become subsumed by that volume and the weight. And speaking of the anxieties, for a variety of reasons, that's there. On the one side, a lot of times your considerations are like, oh man, all this cool stuff is happening, and I'm just fumbling over all my words, and then you make it worse and worse because your anxiety is continuing to crank up. Yeah. I think the preparation, the mental preparation, the consideration of what it's like well in advance, and you know, what are you going to do about it? Do you have something prepared? Do you have something written down? Have you taken the time to actually walk through what it would be like? Not just fantasize about it, because it's easy to get lost in the fantasies of all the crazy cool stuff that happens, and of course you're perfect in all those fantasies. You know, you got the right, but actually walking yourself through it can be really valuable.
Practice.
Yeah,
that's why it's good to acknowledge all the raids, like he said.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Then you're prepared.
Yeah,
I got hit with 14,000 one day. Somebody with 14,000 viewers decided to hit me. You know what I did? I turned on the Russian raid and I let it fly, and I did what I normally did. But I'm just like, my chat looks like a waterfall.
Extra
There's nothing I can do.
A little, and then
yeah, right.
I mean, yeah, that's it. I agree with that 100% because I mean so much of Twitch is like right place, right time, right directory, right time, like just being like with Hunter, you know, like he is in the right directory and he got
Exactly.
discovered and so yeah, like you just the preparedness of like having like, you know, who am I, what am I about, and then like practicing and evolving that over time. And
yeah, write like a script or something and then practice that. Come up with a game plan.
Yes, a checklist of things you want to mention to pitch to people, like the identity of your stream for the kind of people that you want to stick around. What would they like to hear?
Yep.
Because if you're talking about like real people who actually like what your stream is about, you don't have to, you know, like market yourself in some weird way that's like really gimmicky specifically. They already want to be there. They just don't know it yet because it is built for those exactly right people. So what would they want to hear to draw them in that is real and true about the stream? And you can prepare that in advance, I think.
Yep. And just practicing that, and just I had done the raid so many times, but like you're sitting there and you go, there's a lot of people in here. So at some point when there's a lot of people in chat, if you've seen with Big, you do your lines, you do your thing, and then you address stuff afterwards. And one of the funny things I do, especially when Russians raid me, is I can read a little bit, but not a lot. So I look for the lines I can read. And what I do is I'll read the lines and I'll respond to them as fast as possible. So I understand Privyet, which is hi. So I go, oh, Privyet, oh, Privyet, oh, Privyet, oh, Privyet, oh, Privyet. So now I actually have an emote in my channel because I kept saying, oh, Privyet, that my channel can use just so I can reply as fast as possible. You know, I can read little things here and there, and I'm just reading them, and I'm just like, oh, rapid fire, try to answer them. And they're just so entertained by it that they start spamming more, and it just becomes like a thing in and of itself. Yeah. You have to allow it to go organically, but you have to feel confident enough to, like, I have 27 different pop-ups that I can use to respond to a situation, but I'm over the top. I'm expressive. So I want to give them a little taste of what over the top can be. But if I'm sitting there playing Anno, it's like, okay, oh, this is cool, this is cool, this is cool. But then the raid comes in and it's like, boom! And people are like, what the hell is going on here? Yeah. So just people have taken the time to come to your channel. I think it's what it boils down to.
And
time is valuable.
The things that allow people, the newer people, to engage with specifically what you're doing today, like Anno 1800, I've been playing that beta lately as well. It's ridiculously fun. But I feel like you can do something that attracts people into a conversation that you're just now starting when there's a raid where you're like, how many of you have played anything in the Anno series? For me, it's the first time I'm playing anything in the Anno series. So then you can, you've got maybe a potentially interesting perspective, and people are coming. How many have you played anything that's sort of similar to this? Like, I think it might be similar to City Skylines. I love that game, but it's got these other features too. What have you played that's like sort of in that vein? How much do you enjoy it? Do you shy away from these kinds of games? And then people are interested in conversing with you, even if they don't want to watch the game at all.
Yep.
And that creates a nice anchor.
Yeah. Community.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I'm not going to be playing that next week. That beta's gone. I'll be playing something different. So they come back in and I'm like, hey, have you ever played Resident Evil 2? Have you ever played whatever it is? Other games like this? How do horror games affect you, chat? And it's all this different stuff. It's all that.
I mean, that's...
Go for it.
Oh, I mean, I was just like, I haven't known Hunter that long, but like his channel, like that was literally his, like, have you played Resident Evil? Do you like, what do you play? And I was like, Zelda. And he's like, I don't like that. And I was like, okay, all right, well, here we are. So yeah. He's like, I don't like Zelda and Kingdom Hearts. And I was like, well, I think we're friends. So I know. You know,
so for me, I think that's really interesting. It becomes compelling. When people tell me the stuff that they don't like that I happen to like, there's something about that that's a little attractive where I'm like, hey, I'm not in an echo chamber right now. This is cool. Now I'm even more interested in the things that they do like that I like, because their perspectives are going to be a little bit different. Yeah. Because we don't share all the same values when it comes to the games. Absolutely. And I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think that's actually something that like really, it was interesting. And it allows people to get to know you, like, hyper personal, like, but they can identify, right? So yeah, because like when people raid me, like I hit them with I give them the hits really easy. I'm like, hey, we talk about mental health. I have bipolar disorder. I have generalized anxiety disorder. Some people are like, oh, like that's a lot. that's
Heavy
I'm not here
load,
for this.
bro.
Yeah, and then some people are like, oh my god, me too. Like, but the way you do it is a different perspective, and I think like they both work in their own right. So it's very cool to see that. I like that. You can go, Lowco. I'm sorry.
Oh, what was I even gonna say to that?
That's for you to know and us to find out. I don't.
I think on the like related to what you're saying, which is like getting the new viewers involved in the conversation is usually when people come in, I'm already talking about something. It's probably not about the game. It's probably about food usually. I'll just catch them up into what I'm talking about. Like I'll be like, this is we're playing this game, but this is actually what's happening in chat. This is the current flavor of conversation. Pun intended.
Flavor of
there.
Conversation.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, with rating and hosting, I think the biggest thing is just to be genuine. Rehearse or practice and be prepared. But then just like try to showcase yourself. Just be yourself. Don't freeze up. I think that's an issue. A lot of people when they get big race, they're like, oh. Like I gotta be entertaining, but I don't know what I'm freezing
and I think
up.
that goes back to that prep. If you, it's a lot like the military training, right? It's like you beat it into somebody until that's their automatic reaction. And when you can do that for yourself, you create a prep list. You work through it before you ever have that experience, and then when it happens, you're like, oh, I do have something for this. Instead of, oh my god, what do I do? And then have that anxiety ramp.
Yeah, well, and because there's that like, oh god, I just got 300 people or whatever, and you're like, I want to keep them all, so I have to be like, but that's
another thing too, is those unrealistic expectations that happen. That like, I want to keep them all. It's like, buddy,
if you keep 10%, you're lucky.
Yeah,
you're lucky if you keep 10%.
Yeah, and so that's like, it's where if you just rehearse, because if you do. When you do get a big host, if you do act like extra extravagant, like more than what you typically are, then those people may come back, but then they'll be like, oh, like
you're not actually like
you're not
this.
who you are. Yeah, exactly. So
right,
like again, rehearsing that stuff is very much like, like with Dizzy, that's his brand, right? Like he's not always but like it is consistent. Whereas like if you haven't rehearsed it, if you haven't discovered like where you want to settle, then it definitely becomes a like you have to be sure you're not overselling yourself in a weird way. So yeah, rehearsal.
Yeah.
I don't. So, Dime Piece. I don't think it's necessarily greedy to. It's a rational desire when you have all of that opportunity foisted on you.
Oh no, it's not a bad thing. No.
Yeah, I don't think it's got a greed to it. But I think there's a matter of realism.
Yeah, there's a panic to.
Yeah. And I think you have to accept the reality of you're only a fraction of those people, even like regardless of who you are and how good you are at streaming, have any interest automatically before they've even seen you. They already plan to drop the raid call and leave. And so that's just a reality that you have to accept too. Like no matter what you do, how good your response is, people are just going to already go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the preparation to seize the opportunity instead of the for the opportunity not prepping and that opportunity just like sweeping you away and you being like, oh my god, like I don't want anyone to leave, like and like scrambling. Just clarification.
Would you say that success on Twitch is where luck meets practice? In other words, opportunity. I think we all can agree that in order to make it in this industry, you could be the best broadcaster in the world and you're not necessarily going to make it. There's a lot of luck.
Absolutely.
So, the prep thing, you prep for it, you get your opportunity. In my case, some random Russian streamer by some person who has not even 1% Russian in them, and just boom. It's kind of one of those things like you hear people talk about it, like preparing, and some people do it for years and years and years, and they never see that success. They never see it. Yeah. I know people who are some of the best casters I've ever met in this website who just never saw that chance of luck and opportunity. And I think a reason behind that is they wanted something other than what they were going to get. Like people who come into this who are, I'm going to make money. I'm going to be ninja. Yes. And it's like, you could be, but you also could win the lottery tomorrow too. But have you ever looked at the odds of that happening? You could be great at the game. You could be great at this. You could be great at that. You could practice, you could do everything we tell you and still not get anything out of it.
Yeah. We
Go
got
ahead.
we gotta stop doing this.
You're the guest. You get to go first. You get priority.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I agree. I always, I definitely want to help other broadcasters as much as possible because I got lucky in a lot of ways. Like, you can put yourself in the best possible positions, right? Like, if you're playing Buck Bumble on the N64, your discoverability goes down, right? So there are things you can
I don't even know what that
do.
is.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah,
I'm pretty good with N64, and I have no idea what that game is.
It's a terrible game about a bee. All right, that's all you need to know. But
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, but it's you can put yourself in the right positions, but it doesn't mean anything. At the end of the day, it's just like you could do the best you can. So much of Twitch is completely out of your hands. You could get the ball rolling, and once you get momentum, you can steer that ship far better. But getting that initial spark is it's very out of your hands. And yeah, so I would agree that like there is so much like luck and opportunity meets like preparation for that, and that is putting yourself in the right spots, rehearsing, knowing your strengths and weaknesses and things like that.
I'm in the camp that with zero good luck, as long as you're not also having crazy bad luck, with the right strategic approach, you can always make progress on Twitch. There are a lot of things there's so many variables, like maybe you're married with children or single with children and putting yourself through school and also working a job, and then you're limited to streaming 2 hours a week. There are definitely hard limitations on some of those things depending on the factors. Various disabilities may prevent you from streaming for 3 weeks at a time, and you can lose any momentum that you have. There are a lot of things that do play into this that inhibit that sort of that orientation that I have. But I think that certain rates of success are luck driven, but success itself has so much variability and should be defined by the individual, where the acknowledgements that can include the hard metrics that everybody automatically wants to look at, like how many followers do you have, how many viewers do you have at any moment.
That's what I was going to ask.
May not
What do you
with,
view as success?
Yeah, those may not
like,
accord with
quantify that
your success or qualify. Yeah, it could be any number of things. And we tend to default to that sort of, that capitalistic orientation of like, what are the higher numbers? Is that giving you the better revenue?
Yeah. Can I quit my job?
And are you more powerful than I am? That's a big one that people secretly have in the back of their head. Is like, I want to be more powerful than that guy. That guy's more powerful than I am. I got to work my way up this ladder in some way, and I'm looking at the hard metrics to determine what those things are. And I think a lot of that ends up being poisoning. It poisons our perspective of success in the first place.
Relativity and context are so goddamn important.
Yeah, they absolutely are. So I do think that a lot of hard work with a particular type of approach can net you success when you're the one defining what that success is. If we're all putting the same measurement up for success and it's always hitting this bar, and that bar is like, it's, it doesn't really matter what the bar is. If it's higher up there, a ton of people are never going to hit that, even though they're doing like a really good job and they're really entertaining and people's lives are literally affected in a positive way, in a healthy way by that. If they just redefined success for what they actually wanted for their vision, then they could have been really happy with that all along. That sounded like there should have been a lot more at the end of that with the way that I had intoned, but there's not.
No, it's just one of those topics where you could, just talk. I'm thinking about it from a perspective of, because I'm in the mind frame now of, we've been doing this a while. Even Go Up, you've been doing this for 2 years. That's still what I consider a while. You understand. You've been to a convention or two, I imagine. Do you understand how the environment works? I know these two have been in conventions because I've seen them. I'm gonna see you guys a lot this year. I think we got two more. Paxi, you're going to St. Jude, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll see you there. Oh, we're all going to St. Jude.
All of us are going to St. Jude.
Cool. All right.
So we'll see. But one of the most difficult things right now, and it kind of stems over to what's going on social media with stream coaches and people tagging other people to promote their stream and follow for follows and telling somebody, a streamer who doesn't understand what we do, hey, listen, a follower for follower doesn't work. And they go, what do you mean it doesn't work? I got 25 follows today. You're always talking about follows and growing. Well, who am I going to listen to? The person who I get negative follows to, or the person that gets positive follows? You're talking about growth here. I need 100,000 of these to be able to get this opportunity. That's what it says. So
I mean, that's the thing. Like, riddle me this: if I had 30 followers, but I had 100 people watching my stream every day, like, tell me, like, why would 200,000 follows be better when 30 people are watching me a day?
I mean, that's something you see. You see people with 1 million follows, and I have 100,000, and I'll get more viewers. Like, follows really like.
It's
The whole follow for
but
follow
even
thing,
that view
it
number,
is.
that view number can be
absolutely
manipulated 40 different ways. Like if you like embedded streams, curse embed wiki streams, front page streams.
Absolutely.
Like, all of these metrics have so much hidden stuff behind them that inevitably doesn't equal cash that you have to try to explain to a brand new like a brand new caster. How do you explain how a curse embed follow for follow stream that's getting a lot of viewers, like, let's look at the new casino streams. Casino's been stricken, so they're called slot streams now. They have 1,000, 1,500 viewers. How does a brand new slot stream have 3,000 followers and 1,500 viewers? How do they do that? And how do you explain that to a new person where, that's success, right?
Right.
You said a lot of viewers is success. You said a lot of followers is success. How do you tell them, no, that's not success. That's manipulation. That's not going to get you anywhere.
And you can work this in so many different ways, because you have to, each one of those metrics, you have to ask, what does it do? So followers, what does it do? Well, you have potential exposure to those people who are following, but potential. That's not. Heads. Yeah, and so then when it comes to the viewership number, like, that number can be really high, but does that have anything to do with the goals that you actually have? If your goal is a measurement, then you're doing it wrong, and we do it wrong all the time for exactly that reason. That's Campbell's law. I've been talking about this a lot for the last couple of months. Yeah. Campbell's law is if the metric becomes the aim, then you have a bad metric and a bad aim. So you have to ask what it does. What is it measuring? If you just go around measuring sticks, that doesn't help you unless you actually need a stick of a certain length to do something. So then it becomes a productive and powerful.
That's a good way to do it. Like, I feel like that's a very reasonable way to explain it. Because
so if what you need is money,
in this.
You could get a good amount of revenue from, like, the amount of money that my stream was generating before partnership was significant, and the viewership was down. Like, the numbers were not incredibly high compared to what they are now. But the revenue was very high for entirely different reasons than those metrics. Yeah. There's connection that you cannot quantify. There are these meaningful connections. There's the strength of the community, the power of the people together which is what drew me into Twitch in the first place and made me start tipping and wanting to sub to people and doing all that stuff. That had nothing to do with, like, how many people were watching them. I wasn't like, oh, that person's got 3,000. I better tip them $100. It had nothing to do with that. I was like, what are you doing for me? And how much do I want you to succeed? That requires money. I have money. I have some of this. What the entertainment, the value that I'm getting is worth something. Let me give it to you.
I think therein lies the trap, though, right? Because people, new broadcasters, Twitch, Mixer, whatever, they allow themselves to be dictated by the platform what success is. Affiliate, here are the metrics. Hit them. Twitch partnership.
Great point.
And you have people go, well, I wish there was an intermediate. Why? Because
you wish there was a what? You cut out.
Oh, a lot of people always want, like, I wish affiliate is so low and partners so high, and I wish there was like a little achievement in. It's like, but why? Because you need to be dictated what is, like, the next step instead of, like, making your own track.
It's that acknowledgement thing.
Yeah, because
how many people get partner and then they're just like, what do I do next? And they're just like,
I hit partner last year, and I was making as much money as a partner as an affiliate right before as I was in November. So, like. I've been partner for 6 months, but at the end of the day, it's very much like, I got partner and I was like, what now? What do I do? And then it was like, well, I just refocus on the community, I guess, which means I had to refocus on my community, which meant my community at some point fell by the wayside, and the metrics that were dictated to me, I allowed that to become my own goal because that was the echelon, right? Like, oh, if I get a Twitch check mark, then I can talk to sponsors now and people will take me seriously now. And there may be some truth stated in that, but don't allow, like, the platform you're on to just inherently, like, feed you, like, this is your success. here it is, go get it. Like that's not how that
Right.
works.
Right.
So-
It's definitely a very dangerous mindset that you see streamers get in. The partner push. You see it on Twitter. Partner push. This person's
Road to
doing the
1,000
partner pit
followers.
push, and then it just becomes like almost
I've been
you're.
on both of those. All right, just tag me later. All right.
Where is this road?
It's
And
so
honestly,
common.
It becomes this thing where, like your viewers. It almost feels like your viewers are just like enslaved to your stream, where it's like, guys, you got to show up. I got to hit these numbers. These are our goals. Like, here we
Yes.
go. Like, and then it's like,
Yeah.
well, what is that actually accomplishing? Then you get partnership, but now you've just hollowed out your entire community.
Yeah, now people are sick of you.
What is that? What is like what value is that at the end of the day when you're just
Well, yeah,
looking
exactly.
at your viewers as just
What happens after you
little-
hit it?
You got to set your
Numbers.
own metrics. I mean, I'm in a
Yes.
situation where I see the majority of my audience 1 or 2 days a week, because in Russia, it's 8 hours later than right now. So the Russians that are in my chat right now, or in our chat, it's 2 a.m. on a weeknight. So I normally go live 2 to 3 a.m. in Moscow, which is my target audience. And that's 4 days a week. So I have a ton of follows, but then some days I have 150, 200 concurrent, which is, for what my follower number is, it looks weird. But on the weekends, I get thousands of viewers because I'm awake when they're awake. So like, I know what that success is, and I got to train my brain to do this. And I have to say, okay, well, this is going to be this. And how do I do this? I'm balancing a full-time job, trying to do that, and try to stream to folks who are asleep while I'm doing my thing. So
I
it's
watch
like,
you in my sleep.
oh, well, thank you.
I think
But-
there's something to be said. Disclaimer: like, if partnership is your goal, I don't think
Yep.
there's anything wrong with that. But prep for like whatever comes after. Try not to like
I
sacrifice.
do think there is
everything
something
along
wrong
the
with
way.
it. I feel like it could be a valuable milestone rather than a goal.
Well, I guess it's defining the two differentials.
Uh,
Right? Like,
yeah,
what-
yeah,
what-
yeah.
what does
Okay,
that
right.
mean? Because
I'm
those
pretty
are
sure we're on the same
synonymous to me.
page.
Yeah, like to me, it's like cool. I want to get there, but that's not where it ends, right? Like
Right.
goals, you pick up the post and you move it further. Like every time you get there, you pick it up. All right, what's the next goal? What's the next thing? At this
See,
point,
for us, like when we were back there was no affiliate program. So my goal with partnership was I could justify doing this more because now I can actually get money out of this. Now, sure, there was donations and whatnot, but like when people could sub to me, that made a big difference in my life, in my justification of doing this. Because I had to say to my wife, I'm going to be doing this to this is my living room right here. My living room is separated by 2 green screens to the rest of my living room back there.
Well, the
So-
conversion of the money becomes valuable because you get to go. Well, back then it was a net 60, right? So you get to go. This is how much I'm making 2 months from now.
Exactly.
That's what I'm going to be getting then, even if tips completely dry up. Or we all call them donations back
Yep.
then. Even if that all dried up, this is still what's going to be coming in, and there's still
Yep.
opportunity for a sponsored thing. There's still an opportunity to have, for me as a sellout streamer, I do just like crazy stuff, specifically for targeted monetary valuation.
Right. So that was the way. There was no game wisp. There was none of this stuff. It was, this is how you make
Game Wisp.
money. And this is, I saw somebody say
rest
in
in
chat.
peace. Rest
Right.
in peace.
But, but even Game Wisp gave a ton of opportunity to people because they could validate that. Because as I know, and this is a no-brainer, but people in the audience might not understand this. There's a lot of people who aren't making anything out of this who are doing a lot for you, whether it be your moderators or your family or
Yes.
people that you work with, other people
The
making
viewers.
sacrifices. So you could basically say, I'm going to be an entertainer and I'm going to pray that people watch me. Here I go. And it's like such a wild thing to think about when you kind of extrapolate it and say, hey, Liz, this is what I want to do. I want to go talk to a bunch of random people in Russia and play a game that don't understand me. And I'm going to find success doing it. And people are just like, good luck, I think. But like,
Describe
the
that
look-
to your mom.
well, that's what I was going to get to. The look on my mom's face
Yeah.
when I walked over to her house and I gave her a book that the Russians had created by taking signs all over the country to say DizzyDizaster. They made a scrapbook and they sent it to me. And it took a month to get here on a freighter. And just kids all over Russia holding signs that say DizzyDizaster. And they sent it to me in the mail. And I got it by surprise in my P.O. box.
That's
And just an hour of crying on stream. I showed it to my mom. And it was like one of the biggest moments of my life because it was like, holy crap.
yeah.
I took the wildest risk in my life by some random raid that happened to my channel. And it not only changed my life, but like it justified everything that I was doing.
Yep.
And I'm making a positive impact on these kids. I would never, ever in a million years see these kids. Never. Our countries don't talk. We don't speak the same language. No way. And somehow I was able to use a video game and a stupid little hat and make that difference.
Yeah.
And my mom is now crying over this book. And I was just like, yes.
And I think all of
go.
us have a type of story like that. So for me,
Yep.
I'm an existentialist, so I'm a deathbed existentialist. For me, one of the big things is how people feel about their lives when they know that they're on their way out. And I've gotten several messages from people who were literally dying currently while they were typing about how powerful, about how they were thinking about the community and me. And when stuff like that is happening, for me, I'm like, I could be making half as much as I'm making right now, and I'm having the literal biggest impact I could ever want on the world, right? Like I'm creating value with other people, and we're doing this together, and that's how much it means. You can't get bigger than that. You can't get bigger than that. For me, like it's that kind of for like my vision for what it is that I want to do and be. Yeah. And so it's things like that when I'm like, people are like, so what do you do and like why does it matter? And I'm like, I can tell you. I've got stories. It's like you could look at the paycheck and that's good too. Yeah. But it's also like really empty at the end of the day. Does it put food in my mouth? It's like, yeah, sure, I can feed my cats and we're good to go. But like real value, I have that defined, and I actually have things that I can show to myself that I am doing that I continue to provide for that success for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's similar to me. Yeah. Like post partnership, I had to figure out what I wanted, what I was doing. I wasn't really talking about mental health.
I'll be right back.
But
I want to get something to show you. You won't believe this.
Okay, go on.
I'm not surprised at all that I won't believe that. No, but like when
has that completely cut out?
Lost your
Why?
mic. We lost you.
Oh no!
There it is.
Oh, you're back.
Okay,
I'm back.
But Discord's great.
It gets weird.
But the more I start sharing my story about my attempted suicide and things like that, the more that we have people that talk about like, hey, I'm there, I'm getting there, and I'm like, look, I'm not a therapist, but like here's what got me to where here's just my perspective. Yeah, you need to go to professional help and stuff like that. But then people come back and they're like, hey, like you and your community gave me like the push that I needed to like really see things in a different way. And so, yeah, like very much like that existentialist sort of like the way that people view the world. And that's now my success, right? Like,
and the interesting thing about that,
it's awesome.
Therapy isn't friendship, but friendship also isn't therapy. Like those are different things. They do different things, and it's very important because a lot of people I've seen in various chats where they're like, "Hey, you shouldn't talk about that in here." Not for the broadcaster, they need to structure it however they need to. But other people in the community are like, "Don't talk about that in here. You need to go get some help." And it's like, well, but sometimes you just need a friend, and you need that in the same system.
Yeah, implicitly just going to therapy fix it, because once you leave that office you're still like alone, you don't have friends.
Exactly. Right.
But like also friends can't be your therapist, and some people can't carry that weight, right? So
precisely.
There's a duality there. Exactly. So
right.
Yeah, but that is now my measurement of success, and not everybody has that. Like,
I love that.
Like not everybody's like, I want to completely change the world, but like for the people that do, you can. Like, there's art therapy and music therapy, and in a way for a lot of people there's like Twitch can be that conduit to like really do more. So
exactly.
So yeah,
and a valuable puzzle piece to people's lives.
Yep. To kind of broaden the point you guys are making, at the end of the day, like, yeah, you can chase numbers, you can chase money, but like if you're not doing it for some type of like internal happiness or satisfaction, you're gonna burn out. Because streaming, I don't know if we've gotten this across, but streaming is brutal. Like, it's not easy in any way. And if you've ever tried streaming, you will know how difficult it is. Right. So I think finding the right motivations to take up streaming is so important. Having the right mindset and having the right goals. Otherwise,
absolutely,
you're in for a rude awakening.
But you might not know what those goals are right away either. That's the thing, is like, I've changed as a human being as a result of streaming. My original goal was just play video games and talk to my friends. My goal now is to like bridge a communication gap between two countries that don't want to talk. Like, if you had told me that even 3 years ago, I would have been like, you're insane. There's no way. I don't even know anybody over there. And it's like, it makes such, like, streaming can be such a positive experience in you as a human being. Not only from like just, I don't even know where to begin with this stuff. Like, it's one of those subjects. It's just so broad. It changes the way your chemical reaction. Once you start to realize that, like, people out there are randomly thinking about you and you're considered a ray of sunshine in their lives. You're making a positive impact.
And you're like, I'm just playing a game. Like,
I like some random thing you say or somewhat, you're like, yes, you do something. Like, they make that into their follow alert on their channel. And you go to their channel and they're like, I used to pop into random channels of people who would view me. And I'd follow and I'd see my face and I'd be like, whoa, what? What is this? And it's just like, it's so wild. Like, I want to show you this. I went to go get this. I don't mean to sidetrack, but they send me a Christmas gift every year from Russia. And this year they sent me this.
That's so
Do you know what that is? The nesting dolls?
Yeah.
That's me.
That's awesome.
So what's it? Yeah, let's go deeper. All right.
That's my wife. Because I always talk about how much of a sacrifice she makes for me.
That's
and in the midst of her,
do you got the pug?
Is there a
Is
pug?
my
Oh my God.
Let's go. That's amazing.
and you just say to I look at this and I say, I don't know what to say. Because to me, somebody got together and they spent hours making this. And they got together with a whole bunch they sent me a big box of stuff, just like children's books in Russian and everything else. And you say, wow, I'm sitting at a desk in my living room, talking into a piece of plastic, playing video games, and I'm going through my range of emotions and stressing over a bunch of numbers. And somewhere out there, somebody is going, oh, that Dizzy was funny last night. I'm going to spend hours creating something for him. Just fan art and just everything else. And you're just like, I can never, like, part of you goes, I can never repay these folks for this. Like, I can never reach what they want me to be. You know, you kind of, you know, you say, I want to be something bigger. I want to do something better. And you let that motivate you. But you're just like, it's overwhelming. I would say that's the only thing about streaming that overwhelms me is the fact that the value of time. And I always tell, every couple of days, I try to say this on stream is we have time. That's one currency that we have that we don't know how much we have. And we only have so much about it. Hi, it's my wife.
Heard the sleigh bells.
We only have so much of it. And we're spending it on people. We're spending it on things. Yeah. We're spending it on stuff. And we don't know how much we have. So, you know, for us to have that currency that we spend on people, for you to be receiving that currency that people are spending, you don't know how much of this you have. So if you're wasting your time stressing away from this stuff and wasting on things that don't matter or wasting on looking on numbers, you just go, there's so much better things to be doing. And understanding that currency, not only for you, but for them and what they're investing in you, and just thanking them, say thank you for spending part of your life on me. You could be doing anything right now. You could be thinking about anything. You could be supporting anything, and you're spending it on me. I mean,
it's
what
the idea
greater, you know, it's such a huge compliment to what you're doing.
Yeah. And that's when someone's like, I'm so sorry, I can't sub. And I'm like, no, you're giving me like very finite resource you have. Like that is, even if you pop in for like, hey, I can't stay, but like I thought about you tonight, like hi bye. Like that is still huge. Like,
the apology for not coming to stream is one of the most bewildering things I'm ever going to
sorry
read in
for
my
being
life.
late. Sorry I'm late.
Sorry,
like,
my sub is
this
gone.
isn't class.
What?
Like, you don't have to
like
be here
clock
exactly
in.
on time.
Yeah.
Right.
That's another one.
Yeah, you're gonna get expelled soon, right? Like you keep being late. Like,
Demerit.
I always like joke around. I'm like, okay, where's your excused absence? Where's your note?
Do you have a hall pass, young lady?
I like that.
Yeah, it's and it's
You're
like
dead to me, sir.
Yeah, I agree. It's impactful because like we get to shut off. Okay, I'm gonna like go to the bathroom or like I don't know. I'm gonna go feed my cat, but somebody's like, yeah, like what you said, like I'm gonna work on something or like I'm gonna send you a DM or like and like the impact that you leave lingers, right? Like sometimes I think even we get jaded and we like, okay, I'm gonna stream again and sit down, but like seeing that other side is insane. And I think that's why it's important for us to also be viewers.
Yep. Yeah, which I lost a lot last year. Lowco knows this really well. Like I was streaming so much and so often, and then I wasn't streaming. I didn't really have time for entertainment. I had to like try to like not die from starvation and like take care of my cats like on a basic and fundamental level. I had to just I had to just keep alive. I was streaming so much, and I wasn't watching Twitch. I wasn't hanging out with my friends, you know, in the space, and there was some really good value that came out of that that was generated for the stream. But there was also a lot that was lost in that. You know, I didn't have my finger on the pulse of Twitch nearly as much when it comes to the professional side of things, but I also wasn't seeing what my friends were up to and how they were doing, and like, you know what, just talk to them in chat. Like, even if they read one of my chat lines, I'm experiencing them, and that's good. You know, being the viewer it's really nice and can also be really humbling, which I think is very valuable too.
Did you go through the phase where you could figure out how little sleep you can operate on for a week while trying to balance with streaming?
Yes, I know my minimum battery level, recharge,
yeah.
how little I could, and then when I have to recharge it for how many days at what amount of sleep in order to be able to operate again for X number of days.
No.
Yep.
It's interesting.
Yeah, that was a tough period of time. My stomach hurt every morning.
Good.
4 hours is fine. 4 hours is fine. As I'm sitting at my desk and work going, oh my God, and then going on stream that night and just being nowhere near as entertaining and apologizing for it. And I'm like, wait a minute, I can't do this. You know, as I said about the time stuff, people are investing their time into you, and you figure, okay, well, I'm spending this extra time doing this. I'm spending extra time doing that. Finally, I just came to a point where I'm like, I got to take these days off to do this work. And sorry, the microwave's right there. I was spending the time doing this. People are just like, you need to take the time off. We've been begging you to take these days off. Take the days off. And you're just like, I don't want to take the days off. They're like, you're nowhere near as entertaining when you don't take the days off. What are you doing?
Well, are you still balancing working full-time and streaming full-time?
Oh, yeah. Yep. I work 40 to 50 hours a week in IT.
So
and streaming full-time.
Seen that a couple comments in chat about that, about, you know, finding that schedule, that balance between, you know, picking times for streaming, because we have a lot of, you know, US streamers that work during US times, and then they need to stream at night, but then it's like a lower viewer pool. I guess, like, how did you work in a schedule? Do both?
It still sucks.
Sacrifice sleep.
It still sucks. I don't see, as I said, I don't see most of my loyal Russian viewers all but 1 day a week. So I see them Saturday if I go live, and Sunday I'm trying to go live a little bit more to see them. And a lot of it is supplementing with YouTube. A lot of it is taking time during my break at my work to go into my friends' channels and say, hey, what's going on, man? And everybody's like, Dizzy, oh, привет, good to see you.
Dizzy.
So it's, you know, you find ways to keep it fresh, but like, I mean, at some point, I always tell them the inevitable goal is to stream while you guys are awake during the week. But you got to make it. You just got to do what you can do. And that's the thing, is people go, well, I can't do this with this computer I'm doing. I can't do this because my work schedule does this. You can do it. You can find success. I'm a testament to that.
A lot of it's about knowing your limits and your strengths, right?
Right.
It's like where there are things that I can't cut out, even though other people are. You know, I like talking to other people. It's like they stopped doing this and that thing.
Yep.
And a lot of us will go like, well, obviously, since they're successful and they stop doing it, like, we just automatically go, that must be what we can, what we can do. So we'll cut that off too. When it's like incredibly hazardous for you and what your individual needs are. Some of us need a lot more sleep than other people. Some of us straight up can't cut out sleep.
You'll find your limits. If you don't know them now, you'll find them.
You'll find
them. Oh, let me tell you. If you truly
they'll find you if you don't find them.
Yeah. I mean, before I went full time in May of last year. Yeah, I was working a 45-hour a week job, and then I was with like every day. And so I would stream from like midnight to 4 a.m. and then get up at 8 a.m. with her. And then like, so I was literally just like not moving. Like, I found where I could trim my fat. It was a nightmare. I would never go back to that. But like, that's where I trimmed my fat. But Hunter clearly like would not function well, right? Yeah. So that's
I couldn't do that
where you can. Yeah. So it just,
because you're balancing like seeing your real life too. Like, I have my wife. I have to see my wife every once in a while. You know.
Yeah, and for me, I was like, I have to see my daughter.
Yeah.
pops
That's
right in.
okay.
Hey, don't sell me out.
But yeah, because you have to see life happen around you. Like here is not generally for most people healthy. But yeah, so you have to like, do I want to sleep more? Do I want to see the world more? Like leave my house? And yeah, it's
Sacrifices have to be made.
Yes.
I do want to make sure we get to particular questions in chat. So if you guys have questions that you'd like for us to touch on, we do have some time left. We will try to answer what we can. But this is a Q&A session for you guys. So if there's anything that you guys want us to go into.
One word you would give someone wanting to start stream. I don't know what the one word.
One
Can I give
word.
anybody
One
one word
word
on
I can't give
anything?
you.
Education. Educate yourself.
Vision.
Yeah, that's a good word.
I can't not do vision.
man. I have
Good luck is
1,000
two words.
Yeah,
Luck?
Patience.
Luck?
Just luck. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
patience, and I don't mean,
Diapers.
Patience is a great one.
and I don't mean patience.
Patience
in
is a
time.
good one.
Patience with yourself. Patience with your vision, because things don't. It happened for me in like 2 years. I can do this, like pay my bills, right? But like that may not be you. So be patient with like the world around you, and just let that kind of happen.
And that's the great thing about
Passion?
asking 4 people about the one word, because then you get 4 words instead of having it limit to just one idea.
Yeah.
It's like vision. Yeah, but patience with vision. Oh, yeah, that's good too.
Loophole. Got him.
Yeah.
We have a question from Grid who says, do lurkers actually help channel growth? Because I like when people talk on my stream, but I have a lot of lurkers. How does that affect a streamer growing?
Lurkers are still a compliment forever and for all. It's like somebody going like, I want to, because for me, there are some people that are just too anxious. They don't know what to talk about. They don't want to be identified. So it's not a bad thing if people lurk at all. That is still people like every day that are like, oh, they're online. Here we go. Like, I want to come hang out. It doesn't mean they're not listening or that you're boring. It's not a reflection of you. That's just how they choose to operate.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, honestly, like
always.
most of your viewers are going, or I would say, yeah, the majority of viewers are going to be lurkers. You're going to have more people just in the background listening than you are going to have chatters.
Absolutely.
I hate when people are like, oh, lurkers, like they don't talk, like it's like, dude, like they're gonna make up most of your base. Like, don't call them out. Let them do their thing. As long as they're watching your stream, they help your viewer count.
He says, doesn't Twitch want active viewers? And
Twitch
I'll
care.
immediately answer that with, who cares what Twitch wants?
I mean, that's a metric, but like, here's the nitty gritty of it. If I get a rate of 2,000 Russians at 7 p.m., for example, most of them are going to bed, but they're going to leave the stream on. That pushes me up in the category I'm in. I'm going to meet what they call foot traffic. I'm going to meet new people that way.
That support helps in one way or another. Yeah.
I mean,
I have lurkers that like, I have a lurker specifically 10 that I can count that like they sub, they've been subbed for 16 months. And they will pop in, resub, and I will never hear from them again for 30 days.
Oh, I got those too. I love those
I've been getting
guys.
47-month resubs for people who are like they watch constantly, and I'm like, I only see you when you click that button. Like that's the only time that they talk. But it's clearly, and they're like, hey, love the thing that you did, because here's my one chat, my one block of conversation for the month is like, I'm gonna get everything out there. I love that gameplay that you did the other day. I love that joke that you made, and here's the other thing, and love the thing that you're doing, and bump.
I'm getting the 60-month ones now. The
Sweet
5-year
Christmas.
ones.
All these
And
big
I'm like,
kids over here.
they come in and they're like, keep it up. I'm like, are you okay? Are you still there? But there's some of them. If I look at their chat history from my bot, because I've had my bot since I first started streaming, they have maybe one thing they type a year.
Yeah.
If that.
Now there are some things you can do to help engage your lurkers to get them to chat. You know, you don't have to be like, hey guys, can you talk? But you can be like, you know, hey, where is everyone from? Or one thing I like to do is like, oh, hey, let's do like a little lurker shout out. Like, if you're a lurker, feel free to just say hi in chat. I'd love to say hi to you if you want. You don't have to, but
Golden Kappa check.
Golden Kappa check.
What's your favorite anime?
I would say that don't call out people who are lurkers. Like, if lurkers want to say hi, that's cool. But like those greet bots or like going down the channel.
Oh yeah, definitely not that kind of thing.
It's a little, it keeps me out a little bit.
I know like some of my friends that are broadcasters will like, you know, when it shows up as a follow, like sometimes they'll say that they take that off. So it just says, it doesn't identify them, to give them that choice of like anonymity if they
Yes.
and yeah, I mean, a good conversation starter. What's your favorite anime? What's pineapple on pizza,
Bro.
soup and cereal.
See,
like,
I'll
if you
avoid the
start
contentious
fires,
ones like GIF or
See, I'd
GIF.
still be lurking
pineapple
now.
on pizza. I definitely like skipping
It's not contentious
those.
if it's
Yeah,
good.
I mean, like,
Wow.
I don't watch anime. I don't care if there's pineapple on pizza. It's like, for me, I'd just be like, no, it doesn't concern me. So
That's
Yeah,
why I like the
I'm
the
like, I
anime
don't
question.
care.
It's like
Yeah.
I couldn't participate much, but people will converse amongst themselves,
Oh,
and
yeah.
like it's really interesting to see where those recognizing what some of
why.
those titles are and who likes them and why, and
or just say something wild like, I don't believe pizza truly exists without a topping. Cheese pizza's a lie. That's a big
Kevin
one in my
McAllister
channel. That's a big thing in my channel because cheese pizza is a waste of an opportunity for me.
and a fun
think
twist
she-
is where you're going down the is it a soup, is it a sandwich, or whatever, right? Like there are 3 core categories. And you could go through like each one. Like ice cream is soup that's frozen. Pizza is a sandwich
Big
that
brain
hasn't been
energy.
folded, right? So it's
Ice
stuff,
cream
right?
is soup that's frozen.
Yeah, now-
Right,
there.
exactly. So you see what I'm saying? It's like you can
Yes.
get into these like weird situations
at
with some of these
chat.
questions.
Look at chat right now. Like that's the gospel.
Boom.
Yeah,
That's how you get lurkers active.
We got you
I'm using that
guys.
one.
got him.
You've been bamboozled. So.
But is a
Um,
taco not a Mexican sandwich? That's see. You can go through all of these. You can have an hour-long conversation with all of these.
There are
It's so
6
good.
different types of
Awesome.
foods and nothing more. That's really what it comes down to, yeah.
So I have a good follow-up question to this that Fitness Jim asked is how do you get your viewers to engage each other
That
versus just talking
is-
to you?
That is on the caster. For me, my community is fostered around like with mental health. It's the kind of people that we attract, and it's a family. Like that's just how it is. Like people with my transparency, it gives people the platform to be transparent about who they are, and so that inherent connection shows up. So when somebody pops in, it's like, oh, hey, how was your doctor's appointment the other day? Like that's just the people we bring in, but that's up to the broad. There are lots of streams that don't have that interconnection between people, and I don't know. For me, I think it starts at the caster and that trickles down. For me, it's just transparency and like the way I handle myself. Perhaps I don't know that there's anything I implement that makes that happen. So
I
don't know, that's
honestly
just
think
me.
it's for me. I think it's the mods that are the biggest part of that interaction, because if it's me and I'm talking to chat, then that's a one-way conversation. It's me and that person, me and this person, then me and this person. And then when I go focus mode, then chat's like, oh, this streamer's not answering my questions. I kind of feel like whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
So really,
Ignore.
honestly, my mods are the ones that welcome, make sure people feel welcome, make sure questions get answered, and kind of just will talk to other people in chat. Like someone says something, and they're the ones that help carry that conversation.
And I think there are mod roles for that too, like background roles, right? Where like some mods are great at, if they handle your graphics and giveaways and bot commands, but they're not very much into the conversational stuff. Some mods are like great at doing the policing stuff and making sure people are within the boundaries and the lines and abiding by the rules. And other mods are like all about that conversational stuff, but they don't necessarily know how to walk the line when it comes to like policing chat or doing bot stuff and whatever. And I think it's that
Some
that
mods
could be really
speak
valuable
Russian,
too.
some don't.
Yeah, that's yeah, that's true too. So I think
as black and white as that,
there are types of questions that invoke more conversation amongst community, which I've noticed myself. So if you ask people what their favorite food is, not necessarily going to get a lot of interplay between the individuals in the community, but
Right.
but you can ask another type of that question, another form of food related stuff where it's like, how many of you cook? What do you cook? How did you learn how to cook? Do you have memories from your childhood of your grandma, family members?
Favorite
And
recipes.
sometimes things like that will be like, oh, your mom does that, my mom does that too, right? And then it's getting back and as opposed to like, oh, you like hamburgers? I also like hamburgers. It's like that's not. Nobody's
High five,
like really feeling
conversation
triggered
over.
into the conversation.
I like DoorDash. You know what DoorDash is?
Yeah.
Oh, DoorDash. I think it's
Yeah.
GuardDash.
No, I like DoorDash and Uber Eats and delivery.
Sound like
My
DoorDash?
favorite food.
It's the food for somebody who doesn't have any time.
Yeah, that is you. Yeah.
It's just get anything delivered. The only way you get variety is I love DoorDash. I give the biggest tips to those guys because it's like, what do I want to eat tonight? Load up the app. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Time is money.
Yeah.
We have a question from G Neil who says, what are good traits for chat mods to have? How do you pick them out of regular viewers? How long should they be around?
I mean, Hunter nailed it. I mean, I've modded somebody who's like, if they're...
You modded somebody what?
I've modded somebody who's been around for 2 weeks. Like they showed up.
Yeah. I have too.
And
Me too.
it's, if their personality aligns with like my personality, if so my test is if you're interacting with chat, if you're saying hi to people when they come in, if you're caring and putting that energy in before I mod you, the odds are that like you're doing it because you want to do it, because you're passionate about whatever's happening.
That's who you are.
Yeah. So like, do you want that badge?
They compliment.
Cool.
Yeah.
I've modded people and they've tried to fill the role and it didn't work out. Stressful
Likewise.
or whatever reason. So for me, it was finding somebody who lined up with what I wanted and like my personality and seeing them behave in chat. So it's hard to find that person right all the time, but I'd also say like moderation is not a necessity for a long time on your Twitch journey. Like you could be your own mod with the tools that Twitch gives you now, the mod tools and stuff. Like to a
the new
large
stuff
degree,
is awesome.
It is easier than it was before. That's true.
Yeah, like there are people that I know that have, and your concurrent viewers. But if you're streaming to 5 people, the odds are on an average basis, you're not going to need a mod to be there every single day, right? And that extrapolates outwards, right? There are special circumstances. So moderation is also not something that you should be like, there are people that are like, I have to have a mod. I'm like, do you have to have a mod? Because you could I self-mod.
I had to have a mod.
Yeah. Well,
I definitely did immediately.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many bots nowadays, though, that like AutoMod is a great tool. And
yeah, exactly what Goop was saying.
Like moderation tools. So like,
you
need some type of moderation. But do you need a human?
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice, but sometimes you don't have someone in mind. And I would, what Goop is saying is like the best mods are people that have established themselves in your community as a role model. That they would, you see that they would make a good mod, not the other way around where you are like, hey, do this kind of thing.
Mods are pillars of your community. Absolutely.
For sure.
There's quality of character, outspokenness, familiarizing themselves with the rules relatively quickly. You can see some expression of that, and or with the bots relatively quickly, and or they're DMing you interesting ideas for the channel, or you see some form of commitment that's somewhat unique to them. The guy who's the other third of StreamerSquare and the other half of my stream, HB Fox, he got modded in my channel within like 2 weeks, I think, of just being in the channel, and now he's like literally critical. He's like an equal weight with myself for what the channel is and does, and it was because of the way in which he committed. Other people like Roy Cross was in here earlier. He's been around in my channel for like 2 years, and he just got modded the other day. So there's not because he's somehow a worse person, and it took a long time to really like get the mud off and like see the value, but there's just a lot of variability to it, and what you need and what people are presenting. I think those things need to match up, and the quality of the character and what you think that can bring to the channel.
Yeah. I will mod people if they tell me what I don't want to hear.
That's good. It's a key quality too.
I'd be modding a lot of people.
But I'm saying, like, if somebody comes up to you and says it's not working, you're acting out of line, or you should take a look at this. Like, to me, I consider that, if I know they're coming from a place that's beneficial, I consider that a strong character trait.
Yeah.
A lot of my mods have no problem sending me a message and say it's not working. That's not, and I value that. Because I know they're coming from a perspective that's like, they understand me. And if they understand you enough to be able to say, nope, it's not working. Sounds terrible. Your mic sounds horrible today. That's why I'm sitting there like, oh my God, I got to fix this before stream.
Yeah. Well, if they care enough to go like, hey, I want to let you know this feedback that I think could help you, right? Like they're
Yeah, no, they're not going, you suck. I mean, sometimes, but
well, but I mean that's also a good trait, right? They care. Otherwise, some people sit back and they're like, I want to like help you along. Like that's a huge trait too. Like they're invested, right? Yeah.
One of my mods came up to me. He wasn't my mod at the time, but I was playing Landmark. Do you have any idea how long ago this was? And he sent me a message on, I think it was TeamSpeak at the time. And he goes, you're going to be successful one day. So I want to work with you to become successful. Within a week, that guy became my talent manager. And to this day, he is my talent manager. And he's at every convention that I go to. Yep.
The G?
The first time I talked to him, he goes, I want to do this in the future.
Yeah.
And there's his emote in chat. We have a picture of him eating a fry
he's a cool
PAX
guy.
East. But he came out to me and he goes, you know what? You're going to be successful one day and I want to be a part of it. So I'm there until you tell me no. And he became my talent manager that day. And that was 4.5 years ago. So, you know, there's something to be said. I bet you he's never going to eat fries in front of us again. Poor guy.
Oh, man. That's interesting.
So unfortunately, we are out of time for the day, guys.
But Mom, can I have 3 more hours?
I know.
I want more.
You were the chosen one.
Now he's getting all the sound effects in while he can before we're out.
He saved it. Yeah.
Professionals are over. Let's do some shout outs, guys. Goop, Dizzy, thank you guys so much for joining us. Goop, where can we find you? What are you up to?
Twitch.tv/cooperatives, Twitter.com/cooperatives, and soon cooperatives.com, where I will be hosting my own podcast.
Cool.
2 podcasts, yeah.
Nice.
So we'll be doing mental health conversations, and we'll be doing streamer news and gaming news. Those will be separate podcasts, and then I write some articles as well. So everything eventually will be in one spot, but for now, Twitter and Twitch. Like I said, variety gaming, but sometimes we literally just talk for 6 hours. So I'm very focused on chat. The game is
variety
there. So I like the term community broadcaster is one that I actually am starting to prefer over the variety.
Yeah, I like that too.
I mean, I play a variety of games, but like I also like
sit
have
on a pause
hair on my face, but I'm not like a beard streamer, right? So it's like,
I mean, aren't you though?
I'm not one, but I don't necessarily identify as one.
Those are stealing all our viewers, man.
I mean, that is true.
How could you put that beard out? Like, what are you doing?
I can't really
cover that beard
away.
I can't grow facial hair, so.
What you make up for? You got them.
Yeah.
All right, Dizzy, what about you? What you got going on? Where can we find you?
Diz.tv. The greatest thing I ever invested in was a 3-letter domain. Diz.tv is how you find my Twitch. It's the easiest way because if I spell disaster like an idiot, Dizaster. So autocorrect is going to screw it up for you. So just Diz.tv. You'll find me on Twitter. You can find me on VContact. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter. Twitter is what I spam the most. But Yakovadopuruski Nemnoga. That means I speak a little Russian. So if you're Russian in the chat,
I was looking for a translation.
If you're Russian in the chat, yeah, Lubluvas. But yeah. So anyway, yes, I'm easy to find. I'm almost always on Twitch. And I don't care what language you speak in my chat. You're more than welcome to come over and hang out with my folks, and I'll learn how to say hi to you at the very least. And I will teach you, if you raid me, 1 word in Russian. That's my thing. And today I'm going to teach all of you 1 word, and that is privet. That is Privet if you write it in the English language. And that's how you say hi to somebody in Russian. So if somebody in Russian comes into your channel and you say privet, they're going to understand you. So there you go.
I like that. Slowly.
I was like,
Hunter just shut down for a minute.
Cool. I saw that Beans was in the chat, and I was like, oh, hi, Beans, in my head. I am still on Anno 1800s, my first Anno game. This game is friggin' cool.
Yes.
I am going to be doing a mega beefy launch event for Anthem. I am in the oh hell yeah, give me that game camp. Really excited for that one. That's starting on the 15th. You can find me at twitch.tv/TheHunterWild. Hit me on Twitter at TheHunterWild TV. It's got TV at the end. Instagram is just TheHunterWild as well. I've been doing a lot more posts on Instagram. If you want to see me,
Instagram.
I'm getting prettified and stuff. Look at this shirt; it's so good. Been showing up.
Sure.
I've been peacocking. A little bit. So you can find me at all of those spots if you want to see the beautiful versions of me. Instagram is a good one. And all of the hilarious and very intelligent things that I say on Twitter. It's just
Oh, Twitter is fun.
the best.
Mostly eloquent.
But mostly, quite unlike things that I say on this show.
I like watching you and Monty talk.
When he has time
yeah.
to type and edit.
Yes, exactly. I have an opportunity to work my way through it. What about you, Lowco?
I'm Lowco. You can find me at twitch.tv/LOWCO, twitter.com/Lowco2525. I am currently still playing Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts 3 right now. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And then I'm going to be checking out Metro for the first time next week, I think. So
It's
I'm really
Russian.
excited for that.
Yes, it is.
Nah.
Yeah, it's going to be the first time playing. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, we do this every single week here on StreamerSquare. So make sure to follow the Twitch channel. We also put our VODs up on YouTube, so you can always check out our past broadcasts there. And follow us on Twitter. If you guys want to see what StreamerSquare is up to, you can check out our website at StreamerSquare.com. And coming soon, we are going to be publishing these episodes onto Anchor for your podcasting needs. So if you guys want to check out the Anchor page, I don't know what you can do with it. Can you follow it? I don't know. That's the page. We're just gonna let you know.
It's still new for us.
There.
We're figuring it out.
I'm literally having to read and learn about podcasting because it's not something I've ever done. So we're working on it. We're getting very close to starting to put these episodes there for your audio listening pleasure because so many of you guys have asked about that. So check it out. And if you guys would like to check out our Patreon, that is where you can support StreamerSquare and what we're doing here. If you guys have questions, we do Q&A sessions, we have coaching, we have behind the stream scenes videos, which are a combination of educational and derpy. So definitely check out our Patreon.
There it is.
If you guys enjoyed this and you want some more education. Otherwise, everything else we do here is completely free. Check out the website. There's so much information. And yeah, we'll be back next week, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. Till next time.
Go check out Patreon. TheHunterWild. We are StreamerSquare. We're veteran streamers who know what it's like to start with a powerful dream, but also with 0 viewers and followers. It can be incredibly challenging and feel surprisingly lonely, especially when it seems like you have to do and learn everything yourself.
That's why I started StreamerSquare back in 2014 when I was trying to figure out how to stream. There wasn't much information out there. I wanted to create a central resource for people who are trying to learn how to stream, but also for more experienced creators who are trying to take their stream to the next level. And now I'm teaming up with TheHunterWild as well as HB Fox to really gear up what we can do for passionate and driven streamers like you.
So you can learn what works, what doesn't, and why in order to create your own success without having to make the same mistakes as everyone else. We want to help you work smarter, not harder, and to see greater success as early as possible.
We're all content creators. All of us know how challenging it can be to get rewarded for the countless hours, the blood, the sweat, and the tears that go into our passions. At StreamerSquare, we're no exception.
We want to put something wonderful out into the world and see people fall in love with it, grow from it, come back, and help us create more of it. And that's only possible when you throw yourself into the mix, because you are an integral part of what we do.
So what is Patreon? Why does it matter? And how does it all work? Patreon gives content creators like us a way to get paid for all the hard work we put into our free content and resources, like our expansive info-rich website and deeply informative podcast streams, all while letting our patrons get some incredibly unique rewards and the gratitude they deserve. You can choose from any of our reward tiers that speaks to you the most, as well as fit your budget in order to become an official patron and gain access to patron-exclusive goodies, features, and content.
We've got everything from a low-commitment thank you tier all the way up to personal coaching for your stream, and even more coming in the future. And if you need to tone down or ramp up your patronage, you can do so with ease to maintain complete control and get exactly what you need. You can change your patron level at will.
Patrons like you are vital to what we do. As a patron, you're not only fueling our creative engines and significantly helping to fund the entirety of StreamerSquare, but you're also allowing us to seize upon our singular vision of crafting the best opportunities and chances of success for streamers.
As you help us hit our goals, we get to empower StreamerSquare together to build out even bigger and better rewards while continuing to keep our existing content and resources fresh and on point. So whether you're a content creator yourself or have a desire to help us co-create vibrant careers for all the streamers out there, Patreon is a fantastic and easy approach. Become a patron and let us do the heavy lifting.
Let us work with you to make something incredible starting right now. Seize the opportunity to use anything and everything we can do to give you the most power and control over your stream and your entire career as a content creator. We're going to do everything we can to take the tens of thousands of hours of streaming experience and package it up for you.
Make your own luck, get the most out of your grind, learn from our mistakes and successes, and carve your own path right alongside us. Pick one of our Patreon reward tiers right now to take your next big step toward success. And let's create a stream the internet can't ignore.
Back in... I don't know the words.
This is how we do it. Bam, 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 bam.
Patreon gives content...
Your patronage in the future farts out on pickle.
This hair. Do not do that. Do not do that hair.
We should probably have like up reels. What do you call those things? I don't know.